Hello, welcome to another Fox 411. Edie Blanchard, no stranger to us. We've talked to her many times throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's let's see. It's after Memorial Weekend and it's before the middle of June, so it must be McNider Art Fest.
Yep. It's time for a festival. It's that time of year. It's the start of summer.
How you been doing for this year?
We've been doing really good. We've been really busy preparing all the crafts, getting all the volunteers organized, lots going on. It's always busy here, but preparing for festivals even more busy.
I think this is one of the biggest highlights of the summer. It really is, probably of
Yeah.
the year, because you have people from all over, even
Yeah.
sometimes different countries, even come in.
Yeah, we do. We have people that travel from large cities to come. People don't realize, how lucky we are to have something like this
Yeah,
in our community. We have thousands of people that will attend this free festival. And so I always like to make sure people know, the crafts are free, music's free, we have a free pancake breakfast that morning that starts at 9 a.m. and that kind of kicks us off for the day. That starts at 9 a.m. and it gets done about 10:30. It's usually when we run out of pancake batter.
right,
And that's served by the city council and the mayor.
right. Well, it's a fun-filled day filled with all kinds of goodies and
Yeah.
lots of vendors as well. So,
Yeah. So we have usually, we have about 30 to 34 different art market artists. And they range from people who do ceramics, people who do fiber arts, people who do like woodworking, metal smithing, stained glass prints, you name it. There's an artist that probably represents that media. And the good thing about this is you're supporting people that live here locally. Most of the artists are from about 120 miles radius. And so that money goes directly back into our economy. And not that, you can't get things online but we like to think that this is really impacting your community versus, some of the online options, which, might be cheaper, but it's just not the same. And it's definitely not the same quality.
all right. This goes on rain or shine, right?
It is a rain or shine event. The art market artists, they have their tents. They're used to selling in icky weather. If it does rain, we move the bands inside, and they perform inside. We have the art activities inside. So, we're well versed in that. We're Iowans, so we're used
Right.
to all different kinds of weather changes.
Yep, we are used to the elements. This,
Yeah.
by the way, in case you've never been there before, this is all on the grounds of McNider Art Museum. And have you ever wanted more room, Edie?
Well, we did actually. So we had expanded to the library, many, many years ago before I started. And then we had the opportunity when hospice moved from the house they were across the street from us.
Right.
We had the opportunity then to close the street. We could never close the street before permanently because in case someone needed to go to hospice.
Sure.
But it allowed us to expand everything and expand how many artists could even come because they are allowed now to set up in the street. And honestly, a lot of artists like that better because, it can get really muddy, especially in June.
Sure.
And then all your stuff gets gross. So, we were able to expand. Last year was the first year doing that.
Okay. Let's talk music. Who's coming for the music?
Yeah, so we always start out with the municipal band. They are at 9 a.m. Have your free pancake and listen to the municipal band. And then we have from 10:30 to noon, we have a New Orleans jazz group. NOLA Jazz is what they're called. And they're a large group. We actually got money from Iowa Arts Council this year to bring in bands that are larger and more diverse and more members to infuse money to them, as well as bring that to the community. So this is one of the bands we're bringing in. So that's NOLA Jazz.
Okay.
And they perform 10:30 to noon.
Okay.
And then we have from 12:30 to 2, the Galactic Cowboy Orchestra. And they play a lot of different things.
Okay.
A lot of it's mainstream music, but maybe with their twist. But, they have like electric fiddle, things like that. So they have a unique group of musicians that all work together. And it's a very, very fun fun show that they do. And they will be here from 12:30 to 2. And then from 2:30 to 4, kind of to wrap up the day, we have a solo artist. His name is Jordan Messerol, and he'll play solo guitar, a lot of popular things that you probably know, but, kind of helps us wind down the day. And then the day ends at 4.
Talking about instruments and stuff, I said, I want somebody to come up with an electric washboard. I think that would be
Yeah, that would magnify. Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
They've electrified just about everything else, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, they have. They got everything else. Why not? And
Yeah.
stuff. Now,
Yeah.
this is a huge family event, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
whether you take the kids, whether you take the grandkids,
Yeah.
maybe your kids have kids, they'll bring them all out because this is such a huge family event. There's
It
stuff.
is.
There's stuff for the kids to do.
Yeah, there is, and I brought some, or I have my examples because I know everybody likes that. They always love to see my examples. This, which I don't know if you can see, the theme this year is called Sweet on Art. So if you saw a band festival float, it had giant candy, giant cupcakes, a giant chocolate or giant Twizzlers, all candy themed. So that's what our theme is this year.
Okay.
And so these are made using watercolor and like crayons on a watercolor paper, and they make them sort of in the shape of candy. And this is to, most kids do not ever get to experience using watercolors. And so that's why we did this one.
Yeah, very true.
These are super fun. I absolutely love them. They are donuts. I don't know if you can see them all.
Yep.
They even have little sprinkles. And so these are made kind of that foam stuff. And kids will decorate donuts, and then they will put their own toppings on them. And then these are magnets that they can take home and keep on their fridge.
Okay.
Yep. And then fruit is sweet as well. So this is a watermelon that the kids will make. They'll paint around the outside. And then we have a contact paper here. So they'll use tissue and make that into the red of the watermelon.
Mm-hmm. Now, Edie, are the kids making these things outside, or are they doing it inside?
They're doing it outside. Unless it rains, they will then be inside. So
and you get true watercolors if you get
yeah, exactly. Very much so.
Yeah.
Teeny tiny little ice cream cones.
Oh,
They're going to make these. We have all the parts for them, and then they make the kind they want.
Sure.
So those are really super cute.
Very nice.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Basic bracelet, and that's good, especially for the younger kids.
Sure.
I think they're going to probably eat more than they put on, right?
I'm sure. Even the adults.
Yeah. Fortune cookies.
Oh, neat.
They'll get to make fortune cookies, and they'll get to write a fortune.
Okay.
And then last but not least, the Sugar Stash, which is a new gourmet candy store. And they also have a soda fountain that opened up on the plaza there.
I saw it the other day, yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very neat to have in our community. And so they're good. This has little puffs in there now, but at the day of the event, he is donating a whole bunch of candy that will be put in there, and the kids will make a butterfly. So this won't have puffs in it. It'll be candy that he's donating.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so a lot of really great fun crafts for kids to do. It's a very family-friendly event. And so they also will have a chance to win what we call the golden ticket, which would be free passes for classes. So if they register their name and address, kids can win the golden ticket. And those are passes for free classes over the winter.
And that's a good thing to do when you get there, is to check all that out. You can have sign up going on right there.
Yeah. And if you can't make it to our festival, we understand. But we have so much stuff throughout the summer. There's tons of kids classes. Yep. They're on our website, which is www.mcniderart.org. I see you have that, on the bottom scrolling. And so with that, you can look and see what we have available, what's open, and how we're able to, accommodate like your art needs for the summer. So lots of fun opportunities, not just today, but continuing on.
Yeah. Before I let you go, though, Edie, do you need more volunteers? Are you
We
okay?
always
Or
need more volunteers. We
okay,
always do. Like many organizations, we have volunteers that age out or get sick or, simply aren't available that day for whatever reason. So we highly encourage people to give us a call. The phone number is 641-421-3666. Or you can go to our website to get our information and volunteer. We have a lot of different things that you can do that day. And if you're not available that day, we have a lot of prep work because, we have to prep some of these things to make it easier for kids. We almost make like kits, if you will.
sure, sure,
And so there's a lot of prep work that is, especially if you're a person that likes art, it's a
yeah,
fun thing to do.
very
Especially if you
fun.
bring a group of friends here. Oftentimes we have businesses, they'll have a bunch of them will come, they'll all work together, have a great time, get pizza, and they'll do a whole
Mhm.
bunch of prep for us, So we're always looking for those people, both on June 13th and the days before.
Yeah, it's 9 to 4, June 13th. That's a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's been going on for how many years now? Have you done it?
It is from probably the origination of the festival,
Yeah.
what was probably close to our start date. So probably close to 60 years. So I would say at least 50 years we've been doing it in some form or another. Early years it was like one or two kids crafts. They
Yeah.
maybe had clowns or jugglers,
Sure.
and then it morphed into this huge thing where we close the street, we bring in, the Musnor stage, the big stage,
Well,
and
it
it
was a
was a
whole
huge
weekend, if I
community
remember
event.
right. Wasn't it the early day? I mean, I remember. I've been here a lot of years. I remember
Yeah.
it was going on all weekend.
Yeah, and the reason why I think, a lot of people don't understand why we don't have it on Sunday anymore. And we made that choice because we did not have enough volunteers.
Sure.
So as it is, it takes about 200 volunteers to run it just on Saturday.
Mhm.
So most people would not volunteer double days. And so what that meant was we had very few volunteers showing up or wanting to volunteer on Sunday. And so about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we had to make the difficult decision to combine both days. So one day was kind of more art market, one day was more kids crafts, and we combined it into one. And I do think in the end, it was a good move for us because it exposed people who were just there for the kids events to use the art market, people who are there for just the art market to hear music that they wouldn't see on other days. And we had also lost some grant money when, the Muse Norse grant kind of dissolved. They had paid for a lot of our music for festival.
Sure.
And so we could not afford, how expensive bands are. I
Yep.
mean, they are thousands. And so, 2 days of that versus one day of that makes a huge difference financially. It's thousands of dollars difference. So,
Hey, backing up a little bit, I know you talked about the pancake breakfast, but
yeah.
in case the question comes up, do you have other food there?
Yeah, we do walking tacos and things like that,
Okay.
snacks and things like that people can grab, to while they're there. Because a lot of times you'll go and before you know it, you've been there the whole day. And
Yeah.
so I think most people spend an entire day with their family there. You'll
Right.
see people that'll come at 9 a.m. and they're there till 1 or 2 or, and if you can only come for an hour, that's great. But
Mhm.
once you're there, most people, their kids don't want to ever leave.
They want to check it all out. Yeah. And as far as your vendors go, so do they take like cards, debit and
Yeah,
credit,
yeah, they all take
Venmo and
cards
all
and
that?
cash.
Yeah.
We also, for food or anything inside, we always take card and cash. And our vendors, almost all of them take card and cash.
Sure.
Last year, I think without exception, they all did. So
Okay, great. Well, once again, kudos to you to come up with a different theme. The theme this year is what? What's it called again?
sweet on art.
Sweet on art. Yeah.
We were joking about this. I've been here 19 years. And so actually, this is technically my 20th festival. And so I was joking with the staff that I think we're at the point where we can start reusing themes
No.
because we have had aliens, we've had
Yeah.
cowboys, we have had prince and princesses and castles, fairy
Mhm.
tales, we've had woodland creatures, we've had a recycling theme, we've had an under the sea theme, we've had,
Oh, man.
like a global culture. I mean, and I would say superheroes and video games. It is challenging to come up with a new theme every year. We are very creative people, but
Right.
sometimes even for us, we're like, could we re-explore that theme? Because those kids are probably in college and have kids of their own at this point.
Oh man. Oh, I'm sure the stories are out there. Someone's like, I've been coming here since I was 5, and no, now
Yeah.
I have a 5-year-old, and I'm
One
a
of my favorite stories is that Scott Borcherding, who's our board president, we were going through some stuff from a festival that was probably in the mid 80s.
yeah,
They had made like a group quilt as a group project. And you can see there Scotty Borcherding, that he had, gone to the McNider Arts Festival when he was in elementary school. Now he's the
yeah,
president of the board. So,
yeah.
a lot of people, I know I grew up in a very small rural farming community. And so they did not have a lot of art opportunities. So my parents would have me take classes actually at the McNider.
Hmm.
And that was how I was introduced to it originally. So a lot of
Sure.
stories like that you'll find in our community.
All right. Edie, thank you so much. Again, it's Saturday, June 13th. It's from
Yep.
9 to 4. You can go to McNiderArt.org for more information, and I hope it's successful. And I hope you have good weather. It's always nice to
Yeah.
have great weather for this, and that's how you get tons of people there. And it'll be a full day, and I'm sure you are ready to just sit down and relax
I
when the whole day
know.
is done. And whatever time that is, I don't know. Probably not
Hmm.
until about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we usually get out of here. We usually get here about 6 a.m. and usually get done about 7 p.m.,
Wow.
depending
Yeah.
on, the situation, because we have to balance the cash boxes. We have to putting together, that New Snore stage. The football team is setting the New Snore stage up and the wrestling team is putting it back together and putting it away for
Oh,
us.
nice.
I know.
Nice.
Isn't that nice of the school system to help us with
Yeah.
that? We really,
That's
really
awesome.
appreciate that. So,
Very nice. All right. All right, Edie, we'll let you go, and you have a great event, okay?
yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
The McNider Art Museum and their big McNider Arts Festival, again, June 13th.